Card games. It's very popular. It's very fun to play with friends or alone. There's games like Uno, Marvel Snap, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Inscription. There are also the gambling side of cards, like poker, blackjack, and many more. You see, I never made a card game before, so I decided to make one. I joined a game jam called Mini Jam 150, and the theme was magic. When I think of magic, I think of wizards, sorcerers, etc. But I wanted to do something different, so I thought of magicians. Even though the game jam was 3 days, it technically took me under 24 hours, 16 hours to be exact, since I streamed the whole thing on twitch.tv/sped576. So, when the jam started, there was a limitation. The limitation was light is the way. I was a bit stuck with this one, but then I thought, what if I made blackjack but you can cheat? How do you cheat, you may ask? By checking the top deck or the dealer's card and also having the ability to change both. How do I connect it with the limitation? I made an X-ray flashlight as part of the plot and made it seem like the player is using the flashlight to cheat. So, I started with finding references for the art of the game. I started finding references for how the cards would look and tried drawing it. I started with a basic card design, but as I went on, I thought it would be better if I made it a bit simpler. Then, I planned the mechanics fully with a simple visual diagram. This is our table. This is both our table. Then this is like the guy, dealer, right? So this is like draw. This is the discard pile, and we have hit our stand. Hit is like basically you draw another card because you don't want to get over 21. And stand is just you can just keep the card and let the other player play out. And if he like busts or like fails, then he lost, right? And then like the amount of time that you can spend on your turn is like 30 seconds. If it's 30 seconds up, maybe you should lose a life in 30 seconds. I wasn't quite sure how to implement the cheating mechanic properly, but I had this diagram as a starting point for the game overall. After messing around in Unity, I figured that I didn't know what I was doing at all. So, I just followed the full tutorial on how to make a blackjack game in Unity. This guy, Sloan Kelly, was a lifesaver. Since I followed this tutorial from the start, I spent about 5 hours in total following the tutorial. And I managed to have a working blackjack game in the end. Then, I made another diagram with a list on it on what I have to implement. The cheating system that I came up with is not the best, but it should be highly possible to implement. So basically, for the cheating system, there will be a cheating bar, and if the bar is full, then the player instantly loses. The 3 lives get decreased every time the player loses the blackjack game. The cheating bar can get decreased by winning or getting a draw without cheating. But every time the player cheats, the cheating bar goes up. There are 4 main cheating mechanics: looking at the enemy's or dealer's card, looking at the top deck's card, changing the top deck card, and changing the enemy's or dealer's card. Looking at things costs 1 cheating point, but changing something costs 2 cheating points. Too many cheating points can fill up the cheating bar and make the player lose. After spending almost 2 hours implementing these features, I finally ended up with 3 features implemented. The feature that I ended up dropping is changing the enemy's or dealer's card, since I don't really have enough time. Now, it's art time. Keep in mind that I suck at 2D art and I am trying to get better at it. It doesn't help as well that the time to make stuff is very limited, so I just did my best. I made a list on what to make for the game in terms of art. For some of these things, I don't really have to draw it, mainly the UI, but I still need to draw most of it. For the background, I was thinking of a dealer table in casinos, but there was some empty space on the bottom. So, I just ended up making a square table. Then, I skipped the cards for now since I technically already made the cards and I just left it at something in the end just to be safe. For the dealer, I found a really good reference on the internet and I made a similar version of it. I also made simple animations for the dealer of when the player cheats, when the dealer wins, and for other events. I also went back into the cards and made something for the back of the cards. Since I had a life system in the game, I just made a bright red skull in the back of the cards. I don't really know why I made it like that, but I guess it looks kinda cool. Then I made the comic strips. I am not experienced at all in making comics, so please don't judge my art. It's very bad and I know it's pretty bad,
But with the amount of time I had to make do with what I have. Basically, at the start, a magician is just walking. Then, his head got hit by a flashlight that fell from the sky. The flashlight had a writing that says X-ray flashlight. And then he tried it on the wall and it revealed the inside of the house or room. Then, he thought of an idea to go to the casino to make a lot of money. Then, I made a background for the title. It's also pretty bad, but hey, at least the word Jack has a mustache and a hat. I also implemented the comics, made the loose screens, added a simple light circle of when the player cheats to give the effect of the player shining a light on the cards. I also added the lives that are symbolized as the money logo, added the cheating bar as well, and the score of the player, and the game is basically almost done. I tried making my own music, but it didn't quite work out, so I just took the music from freesound.org and it sounded pretty good. Then, I implemented the dealer's animations properly and added a help button so that the player can see what to do to play. I also changed hit and stand to draw and don't draw, just in case the player doesn't understand blackjack terms. I almost forgot! I added a text dialog box for the player to cheat and for the dealer to draw or don't draw, just to add to the aesthetic. Then, lastly, I added a couple of sound effects from freesound.org, and the game is fully done. Overall, it was a pretty interesting experience. I feel like my 2D art skills could be more polished and trained to make the game look better. But, I would say for a game that is made in under 24 hours, I'm proud that I was able to finish it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I didn't have time to try out the other games in Game Jam, but you guys should definitely give those games a try as well. Links will be in the description down below. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/spad576. I stream my developments or video games sometimes, so yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next video.